Exclusion, excluding the disease, that means don't allowing the entering and establishment of the pest in an area where it is not known to occur earlier. So there are so different methods. Among these methods, quarantine is the one method, which is actually this is the legal restrictions. If you look literally, quarantine is coined from the Latin word that is called as quarantum. Quarantum means 40 days detections at the port of the entry. Earlier, when the people are moving from one part of the words to another part, they are being retained at the seaport for 40 days for the expression of the any infections, especially for the cholera, diphtheria, yellow fever. So this subsequently this procedures has been practiced in the plant system also. If anybody want to import earlier, if anybody wants to import any consignment, they kept it to the seaport for 40 days. If any suppose seed is infested, definitely it will be rotted. Some kind of the symptoms will be expressed over there, and material will not be allowed to go. Or sometimes in the storage, they have the big storage at almost all the port of the entry, especially it was applicable initially at the seaports and land frontiers, where you have to store the consignment and provide a proper fumigation procedures or treatment procedures to eliminate if any infestation is already there into the seeds. So this is the 40 days inspections. This was originally prevent the epidemic diseases through passengers and some things like that. Later on it was adopted in general, because every country has then formulated their regulations to monitor the disease, those who are pest, those who are spreading from one parts of the world to another part through the seed or planting material. If you look the we have already discussed, this is the first line of defense against the introduction of the possible establishment of exotic pest, that is called as the exclusion. Regulation services based on national, there are the later on we will discuss. To implement this quarantine, each and every country needs the regulation, because this is regulatory affairs. The movement has to be restricted from one part to another part within the country and outside the country. For that we need the regulations, and gradually this evolve and becomes more and more stringent. We will see subsequently. If you look the definition, literal definition of quarantine, this is the legislative measures to regulate the introduction of planting materials, plant products, soil, living organism, etc., for the purpose to stop the introduction of the exotic pest and establishment of the further spread. That means either we have to be stopped at the point of the entry, or if suppose, because this is the exclusion principle says, if anyhow it will escape, it will introduce, then you have to regulate them in a particular area. It should not be further spread. So these two, because absolute 100% embargo is most of the time is not possible. So subsequently, if it has been introduced in any part of the continent or nation or districts or any village or any area, so further spread has not to be made. So almost all the practices which is required to be prohibit the introduction and further spread will comes under the quarantine procedures. So this canvas of quarantine is very wider. If you look here, further spread all the breeding resistant varieties, using the chemicals, everything will come over here. So quarantine per se is not only the legal procedures, it is legal procedures up to the extent when you are not allowing to the introduction of any material, any foreign pests into the country, but at the time when it introduced in the particular area, almost all the management practices has to be applied to further prevent them to spread in the newer area into the particular area. So almost all the practices of the plant productions will apply over here. There are, I will show you some of the examples where you can signify the importance of the quarantine legislation in the country You all might be knowing the late blight of potato, which caused the serious epidemics into the epiphytotics, rather you can say, into the Ireland in 1845. Almost millions of the peoples die, and those who left over there, they migrated from other part of the world due to the serious outbreak of this, and subsequently leads the invention of the new science, host pathogen interactions, DeBerry contribution. Those who are the plant pathologists, and they are very much aware, the father of plant pathology, Henry Chenton DeBerry, let down a new area of the science, host pathogen interactions, management and all these things, and identified first time. Already earlier it has been proved the diseases are caused by microorganism, but this was the very scientific evidence has been given by the DeBerry at that time, and then entire community start believing in that one, because it was the very serious epiphytotics. There are the certain, not only India, I will show you later on, lot of pest has been introduced prior to the quarantine regulation and after the quarantine regulations. But other countries are also there, they have the very good stringent quarantine regulation. Even then, lot of pests are being introduced. You see in USA, these are the list of the pests which have been introduced time to time, in spite of they have the very stringent quarantine regulations. So this is signifying the importance of the quarantine and drawback of the quarantine also, because this is the legislative measures. You have to be there, always chance to improve, to find out the way and means by which we can further stop the introduction of newer and newer pests in that particular area. Similarly, if you look in Australia, Australia is one of the best quarantine system in the world. Even then, you see this very big number of 1846, you can see in 1905 also, 1920 bunchy top of banana, which was introduced in 1940 in India, it was introduced 1920 in the Australia. So many pests. If you see any textbook, you will find a very big list. Even the website of any country, you go for the quarantine of that quarantine in Australia, the regulated pest in the Australia, you will get them in Google, and almost all the pests which have been introduced in different part of the world in that particular country, you will find over there. Similarly, if you look in India, I will show you a big list, but these are some of the very important, almost all the textbook you will find here. You see that sometimes what happen, you don't be very much conscious about the new pest. Quarantine pest, maybe Dr. Kavita will touch that one, that otherwise it will be overlapping. Quarantine pest means you can understand the pest which is new for the country, which is not reported into the India. Sometimes it is reported in India, but they are truly called as regulated pest, reported in India, but they are very dangerous for the country. But we don't know which strain is coming with the new consignment. For example, the chickpea blight, Ascochyta rabii, the fungus is already present in India. Almost all the chickpea cooler area of the country is present. But the Middle East, the pathotypes of the fungus which is reported is not at present. Okay, so that's why unless you are not very much sure what kind of the pest of known in that particular country is coming, it will implemented under the quarantine regulations. You are understanding? You are all the biology students. Species, genera and species. Ascochyta rabii. Then in rabii, there are the different races. Races means these races are pathotypes, are biotypes, are pathovar. In bacteria, we will find pathovar. Somewhere in the pathotypes, biotypes, races, the further subdivision of a species based on their virulence on a set of differentials. That means same pathogen. Morphologically, all the population of rabii is identical. But when you are inoculating them under the same set of environmental conditions on the different cultivars having different degree or different level of resistance, their pathogenic behavior varying. Some are more aggressive, some are less aggressive. But this pathogenicity means the ability of causing the disease. It may be in the pest insect also, ability of causing the damage, varied genetically in spite they are having the same morphotype. So you are not aware from Middle East what kind of the pathotype is there. Lot of pest in the country. Take the example of Xanthomonas campestris, Pathovar campestris, causing rot into the cabbage. It is known in India, but we are not allowing to the other part of the world introduction of this infected material, because the pathotyping Pathovar status is not known. Ralstonia solanacearum, this is another pest, where is some of the Pathobar, then pathotypes, and then again Pathobar. Which are the Pathovar is available in our country, and what is coming with the consignment, it is not known. A lot of basic research is required. So quarantine is not only the implementation of regulatory mechanism, but a lot of basic information, basic scientific information you have to generate to take the decision. So here you can see this is what the pathogen is known, but the pathotype is not known, that which are present in the Middle East. So that's why this was not. So each were introduced. One of the insect from the USA. This is the weed which was introduced, Lantana camera. Everybody is knowing from the America. Phalaris minor, wheat weed. This is very serious weed. It was introduced from Mexican. Golden nematode of the potato, Nilgiri, and then Banchitata banana from 1940 from Sri Lanka. It was introduced, and this is the two type of the white fly. They are transmitting the viruses, and it has been proved that some of the South Indian biotype is more varoliferous. This means they have the ability to transferring the viruses more aggressively, and that was the pathotype B. Biotype B is called. It was introduced from somewhere. This was not native of the Indian origin. They are introduced with any planting material from other part of the world. So these are some of the examples. In spite of regulation, it is there. This is the big list you see. Every year 1 or 2 pests is introducing. In spite of everything is there in the well placed. Big list in any textbook you will find. But recently you can see here fall armyworm. This was 2018 it was introduced, and it is spread almost all the maize growing area of the country. White rust of chrysanthemum, it was 16, is root knot of nematode, Melidogyne introlobes were introduced in 2016. This is the tomato leaf minor, Tuta absoluta, it was 2015. Every year 1 or 2 new pests are introducing with the different way. Maybe Dr. Gupta will tell you what are the mode of how the material is being imported. System is there, I am not touching that portion. So anyhow, either unknowingly or knowingly, there is always the introduction of the pest in almost, not only it is true for the India but other part of the world also. If you look the international developments, that means now when the WTO came into existence, there is the different standard setting body has been created, and this International Plant Production Convention, which is regulating the quarantine regulations, sanitary and phytosanitary regulations, came into existence, and India is the signatory of this regulation. And this is the WTO organization. If you look there are more than 32 agreements, different agreements in WTO. Agreement on some of this very important related to the agriculture sciences, TRIPS, TBT. This is the trade barrier. So sometimes there is this is the SPS, sanitary and phytosanitary measures. So there is very clear cut. Subsequently, we will see this. This is very clear cut difference in TBT and SPS. Some of the country initially they are implementing SPS as a barrier for the trade, but this is not a barrier for the trade. And I am not going the detail because the time has gone. Some of the when this was implemented, some of country has given the relaxation in the period 2000 up to 2003 and 2005. Developing country, less developed country, developed country immediately it was implemented. You may be in the high school and intermediate Dunkel Commission and some things like that, WTO agreement has been come. So this is very good regulations over there. If you look the SPS agreements, sanitary and phytosanitary agreements, this is the agreement consistent with international standards. Maybe I have not included this. Actually, I was out of the headquarter. I have not seen what Dr. Kavita is going to present. That's why it was not included over here. There was the IPPC, the standard setting body. Maybe subsequently I will come back here. You see before this slide, there is the 3 standard setting body. This is called a 3 sisters. Codex, this is for the MR limits. This OIC, animal health, they have a standard body, and this is the IPPC for plant health. Up to now, more than 45 international phytosanitary standards has been set, and all the signatory country has to develop their own national standards. In India, 22 national standard has been formulated in response to the international standards. Maybe Dr. Kavita will give you the detail of that one. For example, if you have to make the survey pest free area, so there is this because why it has been made, because the quarantine is legal restrictions. That means everything has to be challenged in International Court of Justice, International Court of Law. So for that, there each and every word has to be well defined. Each and every scientific procedure has to be well monitored and well documented how you have to do this. So make the national, international standards. If any deviation is required in that, the national, that means signatory country has to make their own standard in harmonization with the international standards, what deviation they are doing, what scientific justification for that. Based on the clear-cut scientific justifications, you can make a little bit change in that standard, but it has to be published and in the Gazette of India by the Government of India, and it is applicable. For example, if somebody has saying that thousands of area, this pest free area, there is standards to declare the area pest free. If you declared X area is pest free, the produce of that area will go directly for the export, because this pest is not there over there. So there is the international standards. When you have to take the sample, how many times you take sample, how many year you do the experimentation, then you declared. So little bit, if you want, suppose 4 times during the crop season is given, you are taking 2 times. Based on the scientific justification, we justify this. In India, we don't need 4 time observation. We need only 2 times. That will sufficient to take the observation. Suppose 2 crop season is there, you are saying that only 1 crop season, but why 1 crop season is there? If some, that means simply if any procedural modification is required based on the scientific justification, you can do that one. This is called as harmonization of the procedures. So there is always applicable over there. You see here, the justified by the scientific principle and evidences, not only theoretical. Everything has to be scientific evidence is required. Lot of basic work is required. Harmonization of extent as much as possible. Transparent, notified, and non-discriminatory. Each signatory country has their own national plant production organization. In our country, the Directorate of Plant Production, Quarantine and Storage Faridabad is designated as a national plant production organizations, and they are the authority which can deals with the quarantine procedures. But NBPGR has given the authority to do only the quarantine for the samples imported for research materials. For bulk consignment, any commercial export and import, DPPQS is responsible. Only NBPGR is dealing for the research material, and every year we are getting more than 1.5 lakh samples for the research materials. And from 1974-76, any single interception has not been escaped from the samples which imported for the research material. approximately 74 quarantine pests we detected from 1976 to till now, and almost all has been incinerated or stopped. None of them has been introduced in the country. Maybe Dr. Kavita will give you the detail. It is not included in this slide. Only as restrictive and necessary method. Why it is given? Sometimes what happens, suppose maybe you are too young to know, 10 years back when the India sending wheat to the Pakistan, they rejected. We will not take because it was having the Karnal bunt infection. Karnal bunt is quarantine pest, is reported in the northern part of the India, and Pakistan is also have the Karnal bunt, and same Karnal bunt, same biotypes, same pathotypes what India has. So you cannot stop this. If any country is having the same level of problem, they cannot deny that that means the quarantine may not be act as a TBT, barrier on the trade. It has to facilitate the IPPC or SPS has to facilitate the export and import exchange, freely exchange, because after implementation of WTO, now the boundary is open for almost all the part of the world. Anything you can take, anything you can send, following the regulations for everything, because it becomes open. So then open, everything, anything can go. So there should be a regulation to monitor that any deleterious or dangerous things cannot be moved from one part to another part. So this is only to the protection level, not to the, this has to provide the protection, appropriate level of protection, not a barrier in any kind of the trade. If you go into the Google and put IPPCC, website is there, a lot of things there. Every 6 months they have the meeting, all the country partners there, what recent meeting is there, what decision they are going to take, everything is there. So you can update over there, but broadly what is included in this principally we are discussing over here. If you look the sanitary and phytosanitary measures, what it says, its aim is to protect a plant from pests and pathogens. See, that means the plant has to be protected from the pests and pathogens. Human beings and animals, that not only talking, this SPS is not talking only for the plants, because the human being depend on the plants, animal depend on the plants, especially in Indian agrarian country, much more population is depend on the plants. Human being and animals for what? Toxins, additive in foods, feed and beverage, and then disease and pest. Although there is no very limited number of the pests which are attacking the plants causing disease in human, some aspergillus and some allergetic and something candidus, there some of the fungi is there which are causing, but normally the diseases which are occurring on the plants are not causing the disease in the human, except few, this fusarium, aspergillus, ergot, bajra and rye and all these, they are causing the diseases, but they are the animals, they can, because they are not directly causing, and almost all the later on subsequently maybe in some slide it will come, not direct, indirect impact also has to be taken. So and sometimes additives in food and feed, suppose cake is there, groundnut cake, having plenty of the microorganisms, some of them are deleterious to our ecosystem, some of them may be causing the disease in the plants, has to be taken in the accounts. Even any kind, nowadays people are talking to, maybe the GM, the whatever the GM is not allowed in our country, lot of samples coming in the oil, soybean oil and any products, cornflakes from the maize, maybe the GM maize, so how we can detect it? Because it is not going to any impact on the human being, but since the country is not allowing to grow and consume the GM, so then there is the regulatory mechanisms to control them. Otherwise what happens indirectly, our market will be dumped by the GM products and native market will be crashed. So lot of dumping duty and all these things, SPS is very big, maybe in one lecture SPS then we can cover, but preliminary background you can take from here, and you can further you can do the study on the website, all the information are available. You can see this WTO, this we have discussed this. There are different articles. If you look the SPS agreements, there are the different articles. Some of the articles which are important, which has to be taken care by the almost all the signatory country. That means harmonization is required in standards. Assessment of the risk. we are not dealing here in this lecture risk assessment. That means if the new pest is coming, so you have to do PRA, pest risk analysis, whether any chance, any probability of introducing pest to become a dangerous to particular crops. If it is yes, whether we have the options to mitigate it, whether we have to option to control it, and if not, how much damage it can cause. And holistically this has to be assessed, then the consignment will allowed. So very large, if you go in pest risk analysis, there are the standards, 45 standards are there. In that standard there is one standard in pest risk analysis. So you can see over there, but basically there is 3 steps: assessment, and then loss assessment and risk assessment, and then mitigate management option you have to do for that one. Then the disease free area, this is very important for the export. If your consignment from the area where the disease is not reported, it can easily go. And then technical assistance, internationality is available, dispute settlement, and so many provision there you can see on the website in detail. I am not going through. If you look the IPPC, this is the multilateral treaty, and nearly 183 countries is signatory in this one, almost all the part of the world, and this is the standard setting body. We have already discussed this. This is only to prevent the introduction and spread of the pest, promote the fair and safe trade. It may not be considered as the barrier for the trade. It is always keep into the mind, protect plant life, and indirectly human and environment and ecosystem. The very bigger canvas is there. Any organism, suppose you are any bacteria you are importing for the research, that means you have to generate the biosafety data, whether this is going to a deleterious effect on our ecosystem. If yes, then it may not be allowed. So some of the scope of IPC is there, wide range of plant products, wide range of pest, plants, cultivated plants and wild flora. Then you see the plant pests, invertebrates, diseases and weeds. Even the weeds has also been covered in this. Harms, direct and indirect harm. Sometimes what happens, they may be not harmful directly, but indirect harm is there. The losses causing some toxins they are producing, ecosystem they are diluting. Any noxious weed if introduced, the entire ecosystem will be changed. So everything has to holistically has to be assessed, and regulation for that. And indirect losses also, something say storage places, not only directly plant you have to assess. Because very limited time is there, we cannot go into very much detail, but you can get the idea. So this will cover this canvas, can go to the storage places. What gunny bag, whatever the time of the container is going, whether the container is contaminating, any suppose the packaging material from which it is there, whether wooden packaging material, what are the pests associated with the wooden, everything has to come under this. Convenience, whether which way ships, whether it's coming air or ship, which way it is coming, all has to be free. And then biological controlling organism also. This is nowadays lot of biocontrol agents are being imported, exchanged in the research industry and other organisms. Suppose industrial use of the organism there, if you are importing, that also come. Almost all the living organisms, including the plants, covered in the IPPC, and standards are there. We have discussed this, it is not required. So there are the obligations for the countries also. Every country should have the national plant production organizations. India is having one, DPPQS. Regulation they have to, phytosanitary requirement is required, conduct surveillance, treatment and certi exports, share information, notify. That means you have the national setup, and whatever the compliance is required internationally, you should have to display and with the transparency. If you are intercepting any pest, you have to put in the website, from this consignment we intercepted this, and this was the procedures which in internationally laid down by which it has been identified. You see the IPPC and SPS. SPS is complementary provision for the plant production in the trade agreement. This is giving the trade. what kind of the cartoon is there, what kind of the package. Suppose the few years back you have seen this Chinese doll is painted with the certain paints which having the toxins not good for the health for the babies. So these are things come in the SPS, not the IPPC. Okay, and the IPPC makes provision for trade in plant production agreements. Whatever the related to the plant productions, that will only come into the IPPC. And if you look the national regulations, every country have the different regulation. India has the 1914 DIP Act. If you look the, maybe the Dr. Kavita will tell you in the detail. This is the very old Destructive Insect Pest Act 1914. कितने मिनट का यह है क्लास हम लोगों का? 1 hour का. So okay, so 15-20 minutes more we have. So Destructive Insect Pest Act, it was 1914, and to support this, because we don't have a very holistically biodiversity, just like the biodiversity, we don't have the plant biosecurity bill or authority, some things like that. This is very old act is there, and to support this, plant, fruit and seed regulation was there, passed in 1984. It was again revised in 1989, and new seed policies came in 1988, because the seed is moving, the majority of the movement is the seed and planting material. So indirectly the seed policy is supporting to the plant quarantine regulations. And after this SPS WTO agreements, the plant quarantine order 2003 came into the force. So presently we have the implementing order that is called as plant quarantine order 2003, and 2003, but the act is that old one act 1914. From 2014 this biosecurity bill has been put up into the parliament, cabinet has approved, it is under the discussion in which form the entire cabinet agreed with this, but what would be the form of its implementation, it is being discussed. So there will be one single regulations applicable for animals, plants and human being related to the biosecurity and biosafety. And if you look the what is the science, if you go to DPPQS website, there is a PDF 500-600 pages PDF documents, plant quarantine order, you can download that and see. There are the different schedule in this order. What is the salient feature of that? So there is the, I would like to first, this is, I would like to show first this. There are the 12 different schedule is given, how this, what are the part of the entry, from where it has to go, how it has to be go, what would be the fee for the applicable and everything. But for the, if you look this schedule 4, 5, 6, they are very important, and this 12, 8. So if you see here, here is the list is given where is prohibited. That means the country and plant you cannot import. In this 5, there is the list is given, you can import, but the special permission is required. And this is the biggest list where the with the special declaration anything you can import. But those crop and country, if it is not listed in these 3 schedule, so PRA is mandatory. Suppose X crop you wants to import from USA, it is not listed here there, then it has to be done by the PRA. PRA means we have to assess the risk. If X seed is coming, what kind of the risk associated with this, whether we have the mitigation option for that. If we have, then we will allow, if we don't have, we will not allow. Okay, and the quarantine 31 weed seed is given, weed name is given, it has increased 91, it has to be modified. Still it has not been modified. Okay, so that was giving where the PRA is made precondition for items which are not listed in this schedule. Weed has already been given, list is there. Packaging material, I am not discussing in detail, there is ISMP 15 where the packaging material, because there is big story, there is the wood weevil which introduced, migrate from European country to America. America is saying it is originated from Europe, and Europe is saying not, it is originated from, causing the dead yaak trees. In yaak tree this is dead. This means gradually it is moving inside and the entire tree is drying. And it is moving through the packaging material. If you make the boxes from that trees, it infected with the particular insect is migrated from one parts to another plant. So they designed at that time 2002 or 5 maybe the year, design a standard procedures. You have to, if your packaging material is from the wood, either it has to be steam sterilized or chemical treatment, and for both the treatments separate mark is there you have to put on the boxes. So internationally India has got the 5-year relaxation because they have to develop the infrastructures to make the, because 1 or 2 boxes, millions of boxes every year is required for packaging material. So lot of private companies, they develop their infrastructure, now it is implemented in India also. So this is required in that cases. Additional declaration is required. That means whatever the list 6 is given, more than 500 agriculture commodities, 599 list is there. Suppose you are importing wheat from Mexico, so there is a list of pests is there given. The Mexico has to declare that this consignment is free from this pest. And when it comes to the India, we have to test really they are the free. Every year with the declaration we are intercepting at least 20 pests which is declared to be free quarantine pests, but we are intercepting. So that's why in spite of declaration the organization has to be well equipped and to identify or detect the pests which are coming with the consignments. In the country like USA, every year at least 10 pests we are intercepting which are declared to be free in the consignments. And there is the regulations, since it is research material, so we are simply writing other non-compliance. There is provision maybe in few slides, because I have not gone through the slide. I was at home. Dr. Kavita has made this slide and given in the morning to me. So maybe non-compliance in somewhere is given. I will show you. So non-compliance is sub countries violating the rules. You can stop their import, and there is the provision is given what kind of the step, and depending on the risk you can impose on that. Non-compliance regulation is there. So you see their setup normally. Ministry of Agriculture is their nodal agencies. Department of Agriculture Cooperation, Farmers Welfare. Now this may be the old slide. Farmers Welfare, and there is the Directorate of Plant Quarantine and Storage. They have the different programs to doing the one is quarantine is there. For bulk import, they are implementing through the National Plant Production and Storage is there is in Delhi, and they have the regional station in 4 places and 52 different stations across the country they have. A small sample which is meant for the research, it is exchanged by the NBPGR New Delhi and Hyderabad, another regional center of NBPGR. They are working under the Division of Plant Quarantine official control. So they are doing the quarantine processing of the material which is imported for the peninsular part of the India, and rest for the New Delhi. This is the entire, you can find it on the website of the which I think this has been done already. This has been done. There is another for bulk import. There the export and import exempt policy is there. Some of the commodity has become free. Anybody can import and export. Vegetables comes under this. So you see without any licensing. So this can be done for the import and export. There are some requirement is there. You have to fulfill their requirement and you can exchange the material. And with the license, some of the things which has been discussed into the this is the national policy of seed development policy, in which there is the item is listed. So there is every month you have to submit the application. Every month is meeting is there in the ministry, and there the consignment is being cleared with the certain regulation and documents which is required. But there is no compromise on the plant quarantine procedures in both the way. But in this case we don't have the very stringent monitoring and regulations. That's why most of the time there is chances of this introduction of the pest with this way, but this way always there is the very stringent quarantine has to be implemented by the DPPQS. National seed policies, there is also some of the very open, some is not open, but both the cases you have to take care of the quarantine procedures. there are the certain other international agreements which is supporting to the quarantine procedures. CBD is one of them. Especially for the quarantine, you have to take care of invasive alien species. This come under the CBD. And indirect effect, if you see the IPPC or SPS agreement is given, the loss of protecting the biodiversity. If any pest, invasive alien species, any crop, any pest, any organism, while introducing, they are going to impact, deleterious impact on the our biodiversity, it is not allowed to the import. And there is another Cartagena protocol on biosafety. This is LMOs, genetically modified organism has to be dealt over there, because in India it is prohibited. So as a plant protection personnels, we looking them as a pest. So there is the strong regulations to, along with the pest, it has to be tested at the port of entry. The material should not be GM. And there is the CBD, there is the 19.3 article which is dealing with the LMOs. So it has to be safe transfer, handling and use has to be come under this categories. LMOs we have the already. Article 8th of the CBD is dealing with the invasive alien species. That means the species which is very threatening to a particular area for a particular ecosystem, because a lot of data is required. Maybe it may not be very much serious, that particular area, but you don't have the data. There is the weed risk analysis, one software is there, by that we are analyzing if the probability of any species to becoming a weed is more than 7 or 8, it is not being allowed to import. Environmental Protection Act is also simultaneously supporting the quarantine procedures. And then the Biodiversity Act 2002 is directly, it is regulating the, because this almost all the pests which are being to be handled has the impact on the biological diversity of a particular area. So there in PQ order there is provision for regulation as the Biological Diversity Act has to be also taken care of. You have to prepare a very holistic pest list. Suppose Southeast Asian country, if you have the status of the pest status of Sri Lanka, Pakistan, SAR country, so then you can facilitate the movement of agriculture communities very easy, because you know the which pest is of that particular crop is known in India and Pakistan. You can make a common quarantine list of the pest of that particular country, which will make the common disease pest free area can be identified, which can facilitate the import and export of commodities. So all these things has to be done as Biodiversity Act. So there is, if you see the WTO, what they are doing, concerned with the trade holistically, not only the for the pest as concerned, dealing with the pest of quarantine significance. And for India, we have the destructive insect pest or plant quarantine order. It was dealt by the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Commerce. But CBD is concerned biodiversity, pest and biosafety. These two pest of alien species, invasive alien species coming over there, and LMOs, living modified organisms, because it also can be treated as that. That's why in pest risk analysis, if you see in the website, the one standards came in 2003, PRA, where the LMOs was not included. And then again 2011 this standard was modified, where LMOs was included. So the every step you have to see whether this LMOs is there associated with this or not. And this is the biosafety regulation. We have the Environmental Protection Act and biosafety regulations. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is monitoring this regulation CBD. And if you, what is interlinked with this? Risk analysis, risk management and transparency. Because whatever risk is coming with the pest and invasive alien species LMOs, we have to analyze them and you have to find out the mitigate option for that. And transparency has to be maintained in each and every steps, because internationally transparency, one nodal agency is there, although our website is not very dynamic for the DPPQS, but they maybe they develop is very dynamic to maintain the transparency. This is the repetition of that. You can see here the CVD is biological diversity in LMOs, in SPS trade and plant production is concerned. But if you combine all these things, some things are overlapping. You see here, this is the areas overlapping. This will not be unnecessary restrictions should not come on the trade. Protecting the wild flora and then trade with the protecting biodiversity. That means when you are all plant IPPC, SPS and CVD is interacting, so there should not be any barrier on the trade. This is apprehension. People are saying that India is not exporting more and more consignment because CVD is there. It is not like that. There are certain steps there, you have to strictly follow them. Earlier those, if anybody is visiting in India and having 2 flower, few gram of seed is going, now this is not applicable. So free movement is there following the regulations. Earlier there was no regulation, free movement was there without regulation. Otherwise there is no problem nowadays. Issues, what are the issues? Maybe few minutes I will take the address. The National Plant Production Quarantine Services has to be taken. There is the compliance to the international agreements has to be done, very upgrading the expertise of quarantine stations, because they have 52 different stations, only 1 or 2 stops there, and they are most of the time they are busy with the file work. So the manpower, technical manpower is lacking. That's why most of the times are sometimes there is a lapses in their services is there. Developing an effective pest risk analysis system at national level, although we have the National Institute in Chennai for the pest risk analysis, but nowadays what problem is there? No country is willing to give the PC, phytosanitary certificate. That means if you are for the research purposes, you are asking any seed from USA, even USDA is very good organization worldwide, they will ready to give you seed, but they will not give any declaration. Our consignment is free because non-compliance has to be there. And lot of money is involved to certify the material free. If 27 list is there, 27 viruses in America is there, in India is not there. If they have to declare 27 viruses for one sample, at least 10 lakhs rupees, maybe thousands dollars they have to invest to procure the anti-sera to test and certify them. So why for you they will do that? So for that kind of the system we need the robust post-entry quarantine facility and post pest risk analysis system. Containment control introduction pests. That means we should have the post-entry quarantine well equipped facilities. Domestic legislation quarantine is also, we suppose at the moment in first time the nematode, guava nematode, Melidogyne introlobi reported in Tamil Nadu. It is spread in different part of the world. India, we don't have any regulation, immediate regulation to stop our regulation, although it is there, but how it is implemented, because agriculture is a state subjects. Central government is passing the regulation, how much extent the state government is willing to adopt this to provide them. Even the boundaries of the state are free. Anybody can go to the Tamil Nadu to Karnataka and take the guava and come. Suppose the wilt of banana is there. Anybody go from Bihar and take the banana seedlings and go in UP and Maharashtra, and no restriction on the moment is there. So how this can be implemented? This is a good big question mark. Declaration of endemic areas in pest-free area. This is the regular. Last year one request came from the Gujarat governments to do the analysis to declare the certain area pest-free. 2 minutes, madam. Pest-free area for the certain phanerogamic plant parasite weed is Striga. They wants to export the groundnut and want to declare this groundnut is grown from the area where no Striga is there. And we submitted a project with the APIDA. 2 years time we required. The companies requested, and within 6 months you do. So this cannot be done. That means ahead preparation is required. You have to thought what are the potential commodities for the India for the export in the future, last coming five years or 10 years, where this can be declared as the pest free, which country has to be targeted. That means very comprehensive policy is required. Just like the Canada and the for the pulses, Australia is doing, the producing huge of the yellow peas in the Canada and gram chickpea in the Australia, they are dumping into the India because they make a very good policies for 10 years export into the India. Similar way is required. This is the legal restrictions. If you have this, easily you can export. Quarantine information system is required. System for quarantine, check post and all this. That means how we have to check it there and how further spread has to be there. Networking is required in ICR, DPQ, because in India, if you look the one of the schedule, entire country, more than 65 head of plant production divisions notified a designating inspecting authority. DPQS is taking assistance from them. Suppose you are X company importing 10,000 apple seedlings from the Brazil, grown into the Himachal Pradesh in the post-entry quarantine in a protected area, and head plant pathology for Solon University has to go to declare it is free. But they should not be very reluctantly to declare it is free. What are the pests is there, how they have to do the testing, what stage they have to do, it is already mentioned, but how stringent they are following them to declare that. So there is the very stringent interaction is required. Some of the researchable issues. Researchable means what do you need? You need the very stringent diagnostic procedures. You need a very stringent salvaging procedures. If anything is infested, how you can remove them. And pest risk analysis, eco-friendly managements for the salvaging, all these things required. For fumigation, still we have the methyl bromide or phosphine gas. The alternative of this methyl bromide is required. Awareness, more and more or less awareness program is required. Everybody should know. Last 2 years, the quarantine division, NBPGR conducted 14 different trainings in almost all the port of entry, sea port of entry. This was the one unique training program worldwide where the plant production officers and custom officers both were trained jointly. And most of the custom officers become very happy that they are not aware about what quarantine says, what plant has to do, why. They realize, some of them, those who are the postgraduate in biological sciences and then become Indian Forest allied IAS commissioner there, they are realizing that definitely we have to look very seriously, and this is more dangerous than what anybody is coming with the gold and any narcotics. Because if gold is coming, $60 million price, 60 million loss is there. If any pest is coming, it may be thousands million dollar loss and maybe the 100 years the country will suffer from them which have been introduced. So they have realized very good program has been done. So a lot of awareness program is required at village level, then state level, university level, different port of entry and all these things. You can see some of the country very Melbourne airport. You see this is has given an airport. Even you see our food grade. This airport, but India you need only Buddha and then a statue and nothing, no further quarantine. One of the custom commissioner, he was from Haryana, he did PhD in agronomy. He posted in the Visakhapatnam last year when we are important training, he was the chief guest there, narcotics excise customs commissioner, and he emphasized that one time he was posted in Delhi airport. He caught one of the sadhus coming with the certain seeds, not allowed. He sat on the dharna in the airport, and half day he created the lot of things. Then another sadhu came and then they convince them, you leave it, go there, they will send this material over there. Then he has gone. Since he was from agriculture background, he was knowing very well. Otherwise, it is any part, you go any part of the world and bring a few grams seed and few seedlings. In India, you can come easily, nobody will stop you. But if you are going Australia and other part of the Europe and America, you will not be allowed if you are having a single few gram of the seed if you will caught at the airport. So some awareness program. This is, thank you very much for